It is Wednesday, January 22nd, and it is awesome to have you back here on Damon Bruce Plus, along with our friend Cyrys Saatsaz of Golden Days. It is a rough week for Warriors fans, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any easier, Cyrus. Always good to see you, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, man. Happy Wednesday morning to everyone. As usual, Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Pacific time. It's Warriors Weekly with Damon Bruce and yours truly. And it could be the times for the Golden State Warriors could be rough moving forward. Although the positive spin on it is they've got a lot of easy home games coming up. And if they can't at least come out of this, if they can't survive this stretch, the season could be over. Because if you don't come out of this stretch, I know they're injured and they got issues, but this is the easiest part of the schedule of the entire year. So if you can't take advantage of this, you could be in huge trouble. Now, we also have a lot of parity in the Western Conference, and it's why I've been losing my mind watching the Warriors doing nothing, literally perpetuating the definition of insanity, which is thinking the same thing over and over again is going to produce a different result. It's not. You're insane if you think so. But then we also have Alms. I can't pronounce his last name. I apologize. But the Warriors' new beat reporter, I guess Kendra Andrews isn't covering the Warriors anymore. But those kind of things go under the radar. Please forgive me, for not knowing your last name. But you've seen my last name. I think I have a little leeway here and grace in that category. With that said, there was a report 2 days ago, Damon, and this is why we are the premier destination for Warriors content. It's why people come to Golden Days routinely, because instead of the narrative that is constantly out there, that's presented by folks who really don't care about being on top of it, about being accurate, about providing the best analysis, about telling the folks what is really important and pertinent. ESPN 2 days ago in a podcast, granted, so people have to listen to that to catch it. But the Warriors, and I think this is going to be the theme of our show today, reportedly, according to the ESPN's primary beat reporter covering the Golden State Warriors, could be preserving their assets. They could be holding back on making further trades beyond Dennis Schroeder because they think next summer, Giannis Antetokounmpo, a player, I was saying this last offseason, I was a year behind apparently in terms of the vision for the Golden State Warriors, they might be holding on to all their assets to make a run at Giannis Antetokounmpo. Your thoughts on that story, Damon? Because I just heard about it this morning. I'm blown away by that. Your thoughts as we break that down?
That is way too far in the future for anyone to really be worrying about now. But if that is indeed the plan, shut Curry and Draymond down for the rest of the year, get the best draft pick that you possibly can, and then make that trade for Giannis and go forward from there. There's so many moving parts. I don't want to believe it. I don't think I can trust that in any way, shape, or form. So, what assets are they essentially holding on to that will land them Giannis Antetokounmpo? I'm not really sure beyond Kuminga what they even really have to offer that another team would be like, oh yeah, we'll make that trade. So, I don't know. All I know is here's what I do know.
Okay.
The time for what might happen next, what they could do, has officially turned into, well, you need to do something right now or it's over before it even starts. It's not us, Cyrus, pointing at this handful of games and this stretch of games as being the inflection point of the year. It's Draymond Green, it's Steph Curry, it's Steve Kerr. The franchise has told us this is the moment where we find out who we are. And they were in that mode before, on Martin Luther King Day, in the middle of the afternoon, they got put down in a way that we haven't seen the Warriors put down at home in the Steve Kerr era. Not since 1985 have the Warriors lost that bad. Not since Steph and Steve Kerr have been on the court together had they lost a home game that bad. The 85 points that they scored, the fewest in a home game with Steph playing under Steve Kerr. They have now fallen behind by 30 points for 2 times in their last 3 games. The previous stretch had been 8 over their previous 393 games. So if you're looking for the bottom of the barrel, like we've found that, here it is. This can't get much worse this year, but if you don't do something, it will get much worse. If this isn't the screeching halt. The screeching halt comes at the end. This is still the middle, and they're in an awful lot of trouble. And I do believe they have suffered from paralysis by over-analysis. And Cyrus, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think there's any way out of this. I really don't. I mean, I think that they have screwed themselves with a team that just doesn't fit. They're the gang that can't shoot straight now, and they're in a lot of trouble. Like, no matter what they do, I think they're in trouble this year. And it might take you reached an off season where Giannis was actually on your radar to save this franchise. I don't think there's a lot of bailing the water out of this sinking ship this season.
I don't know if you saw the trade yet. You're right. I can't disagree with anything you said. I don't know if you saw that trade that the Phoenix Suns made yesterday. The Suns have been active. There have been reports that Ishbia, the relatively new owner of the team, is annoying the other NBA franchises with his phone calls. I wish I heard a report like that from the Warriors, because everything you talked about in terms of the Warriors' loss on MLK Day to the Celtics, the worst home loss of the Steve Kerr era, literally, like they've never had a worse loss than that since Steve Kerr took over as head coach.
It's the worst home loss since 1985.
Since 85, yes.
I was 7 in 1985. I was 7 years old.
Were you really?
No, excuse me. In 1985, I was 10 years old.
Yeah. I was like, you got a few years on. I was like, yeah, that'd be, anyways. Yeah. But the point, it's a long ass time ago. We're both old. It was a long ass time ago. Yes. We were both alive for that. 85. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And so for the team to do nothing, I'm watching the Phoenix Suns. They're pulling ingenuity out of their bag. And this is what I wish I saw the Warriors do. And it's the only reason why when I heard that report from Alms, it gave me a little jolt of encouragement and optimism and encourage. I mean, look, if the Warriors know something we don't in terms of Giannis, and that's the plan for next summer, all right, you've got to make good lined up. But like you said, it could be a complete crapshoot. You could be shooting for the stars and have realistic expectations coming with that in terms of shooting for the literal stars. Look, my biggest issue with that story, if that is in fact the plan, is that Steph's going to be 38 next year. Draymond's going to be 36 next year. So that I love the plan. I love Giannis in a Warriors uniform. Sign me up. Alms added in the
next
piece
year. Try 2 months. 2 months. Those guys, they're both March babies. So
correct. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's when, again, Steph turns 37, Dre turns 35 in March. But Alms said that the relationship between Steph and Giannis is also a variable to keep in mind in what he said, because those two have a friendship. They're close. But with that said, look, you're watching the Phoenix Suns. They flipped a 2031 first-round pick, Damon, for 3 first-round picks. And this is where you have certain teams, whether it's Utah, whether it's the Pelicans, the Thunder, I'm forgetting at least one other team. There are teams out there that have a stockpile of draft picks that you can do this level of ingenuity where what Phoenix did is traded their 2031 first. Again, an asset that the Warriors have as well. I have no idea why they're valuing a pick 7 years from now when Steph has literally days remaining in terms of his prime, if any. And you're just sitting there doing nothing. The Phoenix Suns just flipped that 2031 first for 3 first-round picks.
It's an unprotected too, right? It's an unprotected
pick. Correct. And they did that because for the Jazz, that's their incentive to make the deal. We're giving you 3 first-round picks that will likely be late first-rounders. I think they're all swaps in exchange for a 2031 pick that is unprotected, like you said. So in 2031, it could have a lot more value. But for the Suns, you now have 3 first-round picks at your disposal. Cam Johnson of the Nets, this is the price tag reportedly for Cam Johnson, is 2 firsts. That is reportedly what the Brooklyn Nets want. If the Warriors made a trade like that, now you can get Cam Johnson and still have another first-round pick. My point is there are options out there. Doing nothing is literally insane. And it's mind-boggling. It's frustrating, Damon, to do nothing. It's insane to me. I don't get it. What's your interpretation of this?
It is paralysis by overanalysis. I think they're so turned around inside their own minds. The Warriors clearly, Cyrus, have trouble evaluating the talent in their own locker room, much less the talent around the NBA, much less the talent that they bet on in their first move of the year, Dennis Schroeder, who was supposed to come in here and make things, umlauti and more efficient and and better. He hasn't. The Warriors, I think, have been markedly worse since Dennis Schroeder joined the team. Now, an awful lot of that walks hand in hand with Kuminga's absence because of his injury, and Draymond now isn't going to be there for this important stretch. So again, there's no element of the Warriors' plans that is working out. There isn't.
You're right. And the Dennis Schroeder thing.
They're a small team that doesn't run. They're a stationary team that doesn't shoot. They're a team that doesn't shoot that can't create space. For a team that can't create space, then you better be really damn good in the paint. Well, they're not good at that either. They smoke more layups than you and I smoke joints. They are.
That's a lot of layups.
That's a lot of layups. It's nothing is really working the way that they planned it. So you got to ask, hey, who's making these plans? Is it coming from Lacob to freeze and not do anything? Is it coming from Mike Dunleavy? You can't figure out what to do with Jonathan Kuminga. So you've done nothing with Jonathan Kuminga, and he's gotten hurt in the meantime. And that means if you do want to trade him, well, he's got less value. If you do want to re-sign him, you now need to be a little bit more cautious of that. Like, they are everywhere they looked, there's a reason to not do something and a reason to do something. And they seem paralyzed by not knowing what choice to make.
It's insane. And there's a $10 chat that dropped, and it's pertinent for what we're talking about right now because it's from Poetic Tube. I apologize. Dropping $10. Thank you. Saying that the Phoenix Suns are making big swings, but Stephen Curry himself said they should not make any desperation trades, to which I respond, you're right. In terms of what Steph has said, Poetic Tube. But my response to that is a 2031 first round pick desperate? Is trading Kevon Looney and GP2's expirings desperate? Like, how is that going to hurt the team at any point in the present or future? Those aren't desperate trades. Those are common sense trades to fix a team. I mean, at a bare minimum, make the product the fans have to watch on their home court entertaining. This is unwatchable, Damon. Like anybody who produces Warriors content, I'm selfishly saying this part, is watching their views and numbers go down. Because if we cover the Warriors and they become uninteresting like this, you're killing my business now. It's getting personal, is what I'm trying to say.
But, as Ray Ratto always used to say with me, root for yourself and your own outcomes. That's all that really matters.
I don't normally, but in this case, I wanted to throw that in there as well.
Your own outcomes. By the way, speaking of rooting for yourself, do right by yourself today by getting an Ike's sandwich. Go ahead and pick up an Ike's sandwich. You'll be happy that you did. Hopefully you live in an Ike's delivery area, an Ike's sandwich area. And if you don't, consider moving. That's how good these sandwiches really are. Go ahead, get yourself to Ike's. Thanks to our good friends at the Dubliner. As always, the Dubliner West Portal. Love those guys. My kind of bar, the perfect bar. It's all San Francisco could ever give you in a bar. It's all you want. Go and get the most perfectly poured Guinness in the city at the Dubliner West Portal. And Cyrus, I'm just going to sneak it in here too, because Bet US has been helping me an awful lot here on the channel and can help you too. YouTube 150 is the promo code to use to get 150% off that sign up bonus of up to $2,000 on your very first deposit. So there we go. Cyrus, what do you got?
I got 3 today, and these are our 3 prime sponsors. Damon, since we last spoke a week ago, this program picked up a sponsor that I am elated with. It's a borderline perfect client to have, simply because they present a product I'm using daily. I'm literally tweeting and threading this stuff daily. I might even get on Blue Sky at some point. And that's Underdog Fantasy. They're now a client of Golden Days. They officially sponsor the program. It's the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's legal in over 30 U.S. states, including the home of the Golden State Warriors, California.
You put your name on it. You're not just you use it. He puts his name on it.
Hey now, and all you got to do is use the promo code Damon. This is how far Golden Days in 5+ months of existence has come. We are the official sponsor of Underdog Fantasy for all Warriors fans. All you have to do is use the promo code GSW for a free pick and up to $1,000 in free cash. And again, if you follow me on Threads at Dog Wild or Twitter at Surf Journalist, I'm posting these things every day. I have a 10-star rating so that on days where I'm not feeling it, I'm giving it a low rating. Like last night, for example, LeBron James scoring 21 instead of 23.5 and going over burned me. But I gave it a 3 out of 10. So hopefully people didn't listen to me. Today's episode also brought to you by Dr. Tom Rosanelli, the hair restoration specialist. Gentlemen, if it's falling out, give Dr. Rosanelli a call. He took care of Rick Barry, Dwight Clark, Joe Starkey, and many more in the Bay Area and beyond. Visit rosanelli.com or call 415-931-9881. Again, 415-931-9881. A beautiful head of hair awaits you. And last but not least, BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. The Warriors, I'm guessing, will be underdogs in tonight's game against the Kings. They're at Golden One Center. We'll talk about that in just a moment. BetOnline, the game starts here. Back to
I'll be joining Ryan in Sacramento and Grant Napier on their channel for a little preview of Warriors and Kings tonight.
Who's Ryan?
Ryan in Sacramento. He's part of he does he does their pregame show on YouTube.
He has the last name. He's just Ryan in Sacramento.
Ryan in Sacramento.
All right.
And I know his last name. I just can't remember it right now.
It's all good. No, it's all good. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I'm sorry. I just wasn't sure if that's just how he's known. He's just Ryan in Sacramento.
Ryan in Sacramento. I mean, there's only one. There's only one. There can be only one. So I'm joining them tonight. And look, we got Sadie saying leave the Warriors or leave Warriors. What Warriors team are actually fighting for rings and titles? And they're not fighting for those things anymore, Sadie. The Warriors have 0 championship aspirations. They have 0 championship shot as they are currently constructed. There is no magical light switch. There is no magician that is going to come and help the Golden State Warriors become better than they are right now. As they are currently built, they are incapable of defending themselves.
Well, we're going to agree to disagree a little bit there. It's simply because, again, Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith on MLK Day had a interesting debate, similar, I think, to what they had the position similar to what I think we have, where Kenny Smith said, look, there's nothing you could do. Just like you said, they're in this like no man's land. They should keep the youth. They should build on the youth and start a rebuild. But he didn't mention trading Steph or going, to that extreme. Charles Barkley echoed what I believe, which is that the Western Conference does not have a clear-cut favorite. Everyone looks at the OKC Thunder. The OKC Thunder's success is built on what the Warriors are specialists at. Small ball. They're sometimes going with the Santa Clara kid, Jalen Johnson, right? They're sometimes going with him as their center. The Warriors have beaten that team. Kuminga's coming back, and it's going to be weeks. There's still a little time. My point is, I'm not looking at the Warriors as dead in the water like some people are. I get the logic. I understand feeling that way, given they're doing nothing, given Steve Kerr is playing lineups that make no sense, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I don't think they're dead in the water, Damon. I still have hope, largely because I don't think the competition in the Western Conference is that stiff. And if the Warriors can somehow navigate themselves through that West, anything could happen in the finals, man. So I'm not giving up.
Well, again, but to me, what you just sound like is the reason why they can still swim is that they've drained enough water out of the pool. Like that. I'm not that impressed with how well you swim in a half-empty pool. Like, thank God for the Golden State Warriors. The rest of the Western Conference sucks. That's hardly a place to put an awful lot of hope. I look at a team that is poorly constructed, poorly conceived. And, the one guy I wanted to get more opportunity, Moses Moody, his opportunity to get more opportunity was sucked up by the Schroeder trade, which has not fit, which has not worked. I mean, you sent me some numbers. He went from playing some of the best basketball of his career before he got traded to joining the Warriors and going right back to the worst basketball of his career. His numbers are awful since the trade, Cyrus.
Yeah, I'm looking at my phone right now for that exact reason, because I posted this on social media and I wanted to look it up just to be accurate. Dennis Schroeder has played 17 games with the Warriors since that trade. He's shooting 28.4% from three. 28.4. That is not passable. Yeah, anything below 30.
You got Buddy Hield to do that right now.
I know, Buddy. And it's not just that. His net rating, and again, a 17-game sample size, minus 135. Yeah. So, meaning he's averaging, I think, a net rating per game of -8. Like, he's a sieve out there. He is a drain on this team. Yet Steve Kerr, in his infinite wisdom, thinks, play more of him, play more Buddy. I don't get any of that, Damon. It's depressing.
It's obvious that Steve doesn't get it either. I mean, if Steve has reached the I'm desperately coaching this team level, I mean, like, just I can tell you don't know what you got because you're still playing jumble it up every single time I look. I mean, Steve Kerr's lineups seem to be the result of a hand of go fish, where he's just going back to his bench for a new idea because this idea isn't working or this guy's not playing right now. It's easy to bang on Steve for all these bad lineups. What's the one lineup I should count on and depend on? What's the one lineup that makes me go, oh, there's a team that's about to do something special? I know you've been through them all. What's the Warriors' most successful lineup, Cyrus?
Well, I decided to do the research. Last year I was doing shows like these on the reg, right? Like shows where I presented using advanced metrics, which 5-man lineups for the Warriors are most and least effective. This year, it's been a futile process because of all the injuries and the turnover. So I decided to look up, at least in the month of January, right? Because the month of January, for the most part, does not include Jonathan Kuminga. Now we got to take Draymond Green out of the equation. But the analytics show that the best 5-man lineup, as crazy as this may sound, and they played 12 minutes together in the month of January. They have a plus 13 net rating together when they're on the court. That's Steph, Looney, Buddy Hield, GP2, and Moses Moody. The second best lineup, Stephen Curry, Dennis Schroeder, incredibly, Andrew Wiggins, Guy Santos, and Trace Jackson Davis. Those 5 have played 17 minutes together, and they have a plus 11. And the Guy Santos part of this, I think, is important because, Damon, the last game the Warriors played, they started Andrew Wiggins at the 4. They looked like a band of hobbits, literally, against the Boston Celtics. I don't understand what Steve Kerr has against starting Guy. They won games on that road trip with him at the 4. He brings energy. And then we saw Wiggins at the 4 again, and Wiggins responded with a 4-point effort.
How come Quentin Post isn't involved in any way, shape, or form? I mean, I'm not saying that there's a lot of answer there, but I don't know what's there. What I do know is there is a team that doesn't cut the mustard. So give me another packet of ketchup. Show me Quentin Post. Do something other than run the same guys out there who aren't getting it done. I'll tell you this, Cyrus. Here's where the Warriors are. Fucked. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
They are. This is why the trouble is really here, because the Boston Celtics just taught the entire NBA how to play the Golden State Warriors. I watched that game. I watched a lot of it. Did you see quickly how?
I hope you did. I'm glad you did.
Joe Mazzulla had a plan, and that plan was to run every single offensive action right at Steph Curry. Now, they're not doing that because Steph is bad as a defender. They're not doing that because Steph can't handle it. They're doing that because that man only has so many footsteps in him each and every night.
Yeah.
And he only got so much gasoline in the tank each and every night. And
I'm really
has to burn all of his fuel offensively because there's no one who can help him create a shot. There's no one who can get him into a shot. He has to work harder offensively than any player in this league to create space to even get a shot. So he is burning it like an F1 car offensively. If you force him to work that hard defensively too, by the time the fourth quarter comes around, he has no legs. If Steph Curry has no legs, the Warriors have no shot.
You're absolutely correct on all of that. Just to add to what you said, because this has been a strategy for teams all season, is target Steph, right? And in years past, it wasn't a good strategy because Steph was routinely surrounded by 3 to 4 elite defenders, right? The small ball of the Warriors dynasty used to be Iguodala, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. When Durant was here, those times, Otto Porter Jr. These guys are like 6'6" to 6'8" athletic freaks who can handle people who are maybe a little bit taller and also a little bit shorter. Now you have GP2 and all 6'2" of him. See, my dog's even getting riled up. You got Dennis Schroeder and all 6'1" of him. It's so easy. Andrew Wiggins as your starting power forward now, who when he was a shooting guard in college and with the Timberwolves. It's just like you said, teams are targeting Steph, and it's easy to do it now because the Warriors cannot switch as easily as they used to. You could take advantage of this team. Now, the flip side of that, there is a flip side, which is this, Damon. And this is why, besides the 12-3 start, besides the fact that the Western Conference is relatively anemic in terms of parity, which gives me hope. I mean, in the standings right now, the Golden State Warriors, they're literally, after last night's play, 2.5 games back of the Lakers for the 6th seed. This is why there's still hope. Is A, you look at the standings, and the Warriors are a 500 team who are just 2.5 games out of a playoff, not a play-in, a playoff. But the other part of it, they are doing something right here, Damon. And unfortunately, the Celtics game was not a good example of that, but that's defense. They're 8th in the NBA in defense right now. And that's with everything going on, with the offense being anemic, with the team failing to show any semblance of excitement or energy or passion or anything. But with all that said, their defense is 8th. And there's 2.5 games out of the playoff. That is why, despite everything you saying is correct, that the Warriors are not just throwing a white flag. Now, with all that said, doing nothing is insane. Do something, please.
Right. I like the Warriors through the concept of their mathematical position, but I've watched enough of this team play basketball to know that they don't have a 5-game winning streak in them. There is a 5-game winning streak available to them in the remainder of their schedule. They won't win 4 games in a row. I don't think they can do it.
You're right. As currently constructed, you're absolutely right. And it's why, and I'm guessing, I'm looking at what Dub Nation is saying on whether it's online. You know, I wish the fans in the arena, Damon, the last show I did, I was trying to elicit a response from fans who actually buy tickets and go to watch games at Chase Center. All you folks have to do is one of these. Boo! Or stop the small ball, Kerr! That the arena is so quiet and dead. Your voice can literally be heard. Joe Lacob is sitting courtside. He'll hear all of it. But those fans are more focused on their Chardonnay and their cheese. And I don't hear anything. That place is dead. That is disappointing me as well, sir.
Hey, man, you know, if you sat around watching the Golden State Warriors, they gave you so much to cheer for, and now they don't. I mean, it's a thing. I don't think you can blame the fans on the lack of energy at Chase Center. Energy is reciprocal. The team's got to give it to the game, too, and the team's energy is just all off right now. Look, Steph Curry's got to take the nice guy, good sheriff hat off. Okay, he needs to start putting some pressure on the Warriors to do something to better his career. And if Steph has actually gotten to the point where he's like cool, making $60 million, being comfortable in Atherton and not really giving a shit if the Warriors win or lose around him, I'm getting a whiff of that. I don't like that.
I don't like that either, Lim.
It is Damon to turn around and say, I'm the greatest fucking player in the history of basketball as far as the Golden State Warriors are concerned. And I heard there was a guy named Wilt who used to play here too. I'm better than he was. I'm more important than he was.
Easily. Do
right by me now. And here's the thing. I love Steph. Him good soldiering in, like, you know, we don't want to give up too much of this team's future for anything. Dude, this team's future comes to a screeching fucking halt no matter what you're going to do about it. So you might as well have a little bit more fun while you're still at the amusement park before the whole damn thing burns down. And it will burn down. It's going to burn down. It does not end well. We have the entirety of sports history to show you there really is no, the Warriors are trying to serve too many masters. They're trying to preserve the future, yet compete with Steph, and they're really doing neither. I don't see much of a future to be preserved beyond Jonathan Kuminga. And the current last great punch that they could throw with Steph Curry is being wasted. So again, how they get out of this, Cyrus, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't think they got the answer for this one. I don't.
Again, you might be right. It's very possible you're right. All I'm saying is mathematically, like you said, the mathematics show that they're still alive, even if the eye test they fail in that department. Clearly, the fan thing, I just wish they had some passion. Whether you're winning or losing, bring the apathy to the arena. I bring the empathy to the arena. I'm seeing apathy out there in terms of just silence, in terms of bewilderment at the product you're watching. Make some noise, even if it's negative noise. Make some noise, please. Like, let the owner know you are not happy instead of you're okay just watching this. It's absurd. And like you said, the mathematics show that at a bare minimum, to do nothing is a disservice to Stephen Curry. Use that 2031 first round pick, please. Use those expiring deals of GP2 and Looney, because if you're keeping those, I guess what I'm trying to say here is Steve Kerr, the coaching job he's doing, it looks like his biggest priority is not winning. It's making sure Stephen Curry has the most comfy cozies as he's going to bed. That seems to be all Steve Kerr cares about is Stephen Curry's comfort. And like you said, if Stephen Curry's okay with this, that sucks. I can't see that being the case. He said otherwise. But this current iteration is bad. Do you want to know what the worst lineups are, by the way? I pulled up that data too. Do you want to know what some of the worst lineups in the month of January are for the Warriors? So the worst lineup in the month of January, again, because of all the injuries and turnover, this reflects reality. With a -14, they played 15 minutes together. Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, who, side note, in case you're wondering, Damon, why none of us have seen him lately, he has a bizarre injury involving his buttocks, his gluteus. He has some sort of have you heard about that? It's a weird injury. No one's talking about it. There's no specifics. I looked up what the injury is. It's like some issue with these little bubbles that exist in your gluteus area. Dude, I don't know what's going on there.
I thought bubble butt was a good thing. You're telling me it's not now? Oh, no.
I spent some time on a previous show about it. It's insane. Anyway, so the worst lineup is Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson when he plays, Buddy Hield, Lindy Waters III as your power forward. That alone should tell you it's an awful lineup. And then sadly, your boy Trayce Jackson-Davis is mired in that mix. And then the second worst lineup, all these 5 players you will see playing in Sacramento tonight. Stephen Curry, Dennis Schroeder, Andrew Wiggins, GP2, Trayce Jackson-Davis, a.k.a. your starting 5 against the Boston Celtics. They are your second worst lineup. They played nearly 10 minutes together, a -12 in net rating. So the numbers show the lineup that Steve Kerr is going with, no bueno.
Look, I don't want to bag on Lindy Waters, who's just trying to make the best of the opportunity that he was handed. But I'm bagging on the Warriors for being in position to hand him this much of an opportunity. Shame on them. Yeah. Shame on the Golden State Warriors for identifying Lindy Waters as acceptable teammate at the end of Steph Curry's career. Lindy Waters is a nice little story that ain't quite ready for prime time.
Agreed.
And this team, touted him as, it's going to be really hard to not give Lindy minutes because of who we are. My ass. The fact that he is cracking your rotation is proof positive that who you are is who you ain't supposed to be. If you got minutes for Lindy Waters, you got bigger problems than Lindy Waters' minutes when he's out there. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. You're absolutely right. I feel like Lindy Waters is an example, and I had one of my inside sources tell me this as well, because even they normally stay out of the opinion game, were telling me that what they're seeing is Steve Kerr, that Lindy Waters III is another example of a Steve Kerr, he's got a feel for this guy player. There's something there that none of us see.
Who cares? Who cares?
I know, exactly.
He's really got a feel for this guy. Well, he's down by 30. How's that feel?
That's a weed coughing right there. That's
a total weed cough. That's residual residue.
Well, you're making me laugh, man. Thank you. We need to laugh about something when we talk about the Warriors, because the product itself, we should not be laughing at the product itself. That would actually, I'd rather laugh than be in the current emotional state I'm in, which is just bitter over the non-action. Just do something. It's the inaction that I think is driving people.
Steve, I think, has maybe made the best comment so far here. It's like, I like the dog's take on this topic. The dog is killing the analysis.
Oh, man.
Dog's name?
Bubba.
See, there you go. By the way, we should have known that Jonathan Kuminga was going to get hurt the minute he told us what his dog's names were.
Prada and Dior. Yeah, he's a fashionista.
Prada and Dior, Gucci, and dude, you're from the fucking Congo, dude.
I know I don't get that part of it. Some players, you've seen Russell Westbrook's outfits, certain games where he shows up, he's wearing those shorts with a suit, and the whole thing is bizarre. I don't get it, but to each their own, I guess. It is funky. I want to give a quick plug, by the way. Mark Jones, the voice of ESPN, was on the program Monday, and he's also the voice of the Sacramento Kings. That episode is now up on YouTube. Definitely check it out. A great episode as a preview for tonight's Warriors-Kings game. And look, the Kings are a perfect example of what just a little change can do. I'm not expecting Steve Kerr to get fired. I do try to live in reality, and despite my personal wants, that I don't think that's happening. But the Kings are a good example, a good test subject of what happens when you make some big changes. Like sometimes it'll light a spark, and the Kings have won 10 of 11. I mean, the Kings are on fire right now, and that's who the Warriors are lucky enough to play tonight, unfortunately.
I think they're going to lose their next 3 games. I think they lose to the Kings. I think they lose to the Bulls. I think they lose to the Lakers. And after that, you are right in the middle of the, now what?
Why the Bulls? I mean, if you're just quickly jumping to that conclusion, then the Warriors season's over. Like, why do you think the Warriors are going to lose to the Bulls at home? I'm curious.
Because the Warriors can't string together 85 points at home. They didn't last game. I mean, there's nobody on this team that can score but Steph Curry.
That is a massive problem. You're absolutely right. The Warriors, not one player, not even Steph, cracked 20 points in that Celtics game. It was embarrassing. And
if I'm the Chicago Bulls, the game plan is everybody guard Steph. All 5 of you guys guard Steph and make anybody else beat you. I guarantee you they won't. When it comes time for Andrew Wiggins to nut up and drop 40, he doesn't. When it comes time for Buddy Hield to, maybe give you his... The Warriors are undefeated when Buddy Hield scores 18 points. Big fucking deal. He's not even close to 18 points any night of the week, almost.
He's done it 10 times. He's done it 10 times this year, yeah. 9 or 10. I think it's 10. Exactly.
Ooh.
If that's what you're counting on, that's 10 wins. Great.
You're in a lot of trouble. Andrew Wiggins never nuts up. The only other dude on this team that could create is unavailable in frickin' Jonathan Kuminga. So without Kuminga and without Draymond, I think the Warriors qualify to lose to anybody. Without Kuminga, without Draymond, who'd you just lose to? What 8-win team? The Toronto Raptors. If you can lose to the Toronto Raptors, there is no amount of screwing this up tonight that you are incapable of doing. I think they're in trouble. I think the bad times are here. I think the Warriors have, tried to justify their patience. I think it all blows up. I think this is going to be a brutal week for them. Again, they circled all these games as mattering, and I think they're going to lose more of them than win them. I think they're in an awful lot of trouble. This is reality coming home to roost. The Warriors saw that 13-game streak and thought, or that 13-game start to the season and said, this is who we are, never once factoring in the rest of the league isn't even fucking trying yet. The reason why the Warriors were so good is, and Reggie Miller said this, by the way. Reggie Miller is not a very good analyst. I don't like what Reggie Miller brings to the party.
You're right.
But what he said was true. You know why the Warriors were so good early on in the year when they're playing 27 guys on their roster?
I heard that too. I know. I heard that too.
Basically said, no one even has scouting reports on the last 8. We're not deep into the year enough to have scouting reports that go beyond the top 7 guys. So nobody's even scouted the rest of these dudes yet. Nobody even gives a shit about the rest of these dudes yet. But the league's going to catch up. And sure enough, it did.
And that's especially true, I think, with Buddy Hield. Because Buddy Hield was almost single-handedly the reason for that 12-3 start. And again, when he's a catch and shoot player, he excels. When he's trying to score off the dribble, he's not so good. And I think the scouting in terms of opposing defenses have caught up in that department, like you said, where they're forcing Buddy to try to create on his own. That is not his strength. And this is where the Warriors being shorthanded offensively. The Lindy Waters, the third experiment, he's not enough. He's just not enough. He's not consistent enough. Buddy Hield is not consistent enough. Adding some insult to injury for that Saturday game, where the Warriors are going to host the Lakers at home. And I believe it's going to be a nationally televised game on ABC. Jared Vanderbilt, who's a Warriors killer, is set to make his season debut for the Lakers. That's a player the Lakers have been waiting on. The Lakers, by the way, are the team that's 2.5 games ahead of the Warriors for that 6th seed. And that's the team that the Warriors have no answer for. And until they have an answer, I'm never going to be fully optimistic. It sucks, man. I hope Dude lights it up.
The Warriors' answers have been very wrong on a lot of questions. I mean, going back to hey, Chris Paul's going to come in here and make no. Chris Paul didn't do anything. He made the Warriors worse, if you run to be totally honest about it. Yeah. So, look, who's ever coming up with these plans, be it Kerr, be it Mike Dunleavy, be it La Familia de Lacob, they need to get the fuck out the room. because the way you see it fitting together, it's not even coming close. It's not even coming close. The grand plans, whoever's the puppet master, the strings you're pulling aren't connected to what actually needs to happen anymore. So,
Damon, let me ask you this, because you know Joe Lacob, I think, as well as anyone, at least in the media game, and that includes Tim Kawakami. Because
no, I would not go that far. I would.
Okay, all right, fair. Okay, Kawakami as you beat, but everyone else. Yeah. What do you think is going through Joe Lacob's mind right now? Like, do you think he's cool with this, like being a team? Because he literally said his entire goal for the 2 timeline thing was to avoid what happened to Kobe his last few years in the Lakers. Yet we're seeing that exact script play out right now. Like, what do you think is going on in his mind?
I think he is he's being served a level of reality that has got him also uncomfortable and unable to reach conclusion on any big decision.
That's crazy. That's wild, man. I think if Joe,
I think here's the thing. I think Joe Lacob thinks he knows an awful lot about basketball, and I think Joe Lacob actually does know quite a bit about basketball. But everything that Joe Lacob thought was pointing towards true north is now all over the compass. So he has to be doubting his own convictions at this point. Unless he's, just that much of a narcissist, arrogant person who thinks that my ideas, even as they're failing in plain sight, are still working out. I mean, there's something beautiful about sports. Oh, what's happening on the court is what's happening. So your grand ideas and the results that it's producing can't be separated as one was good, the other is bad. I just think that I think he knows that there's not a lot that can happen, which is why the Warriors are now publicly selling. Well, let's not get too over our skis on anything too big because we're kind of stuck in the mud spinning wheels no matter what we really do right now. So if the X marks the spot is the only path out of this is Giannis, and Giannis can't happen for 8 months, and that still ain't promised to anybody, it's right back to the Lowry Markkanen situation. Well, that was available to them, but they went ahead and they kicked the tires on it. They decided ultimately, no, we're not going to do that in the name of holding on to assets and Brandon Pajemski. What? Really? Okay. Good luck with that. Look, this team and I see basketball a little differently. They watch Andrew Wiggins and they say, important piece. I watch Andrew Wiggins and I think, get this guy the fuck out of here as fast as possible.
The Andrew Wiggins piece of it is an example of the conflict between coaching and the front office, because the front office, I think, agrees with us that Wiggins is not this untouchable piece that you need to hold on to, but Kerr loves him. Like he's a Kerr guy, which probably means he's a Steph guy. It seems like that goes hand in hand. But you're right. The fact that he's untouchable is insane. And I don't think Joe Lacob is happy about any of this. I mean, the guy does have, as much as he's arrogant, and that is, look, none of us are perfect. I understand people's gripes about that. I get it. But with that said, he also wants to win. And you don't get that with every owner in this game. He tried to trade for LeBron James a year ago. I don't think he's happy about this. If and this might be some solace for a number of you out there. There is probably some inner conflict going on with Joe Lacob right now because he's watching his team play 500 basketball. He's watching his team play listless basketball. But then he's got the ego, and
contenders don't fall back in games by 30 points regularly.
Right. You're right.
It's happening regularly now.
You're right.
So there is a look. Again, whatever the ideas were, look at what they've generated.
Yeah.
Look at what you've got. Your greatest asset is a future Hall of Famer who's about to turn 37. And you have been building assets around him through draft, through free agency, and none of it's working out.
And I don't get the logic if they're waiting for next year. Like he's going to be 38 next year. Like what would this idea that you can keep putting it off? Like that is not you being in touch with reality at all. Like 38-year-olds don't win championships. 38-year-olds watch their bodies break down and fall apart. That's not. I don't think that's prudent. The only way this makes sense, all of this makes sense, especially with the On report, is if Steph and Giannis have colluded and had a conversation where Giannis literally told Steph, I love you, man. I want to play with you. I don't care how old you are. I'm coming there next year. I'm going to voice my discontent. I'm coming there next year. I'm going to make it a mission. That's the only way this all makes sense. It doesn't make sense otherwise. The do nothing approach makes no damn sense. And we'll see what happens tonight, brother.
Well, and look, hold on. I just want to look this up. I want to make sure I got this too.
I'm in no rush to go anywhere, man. So
Giannis is no spring chicken anymore. He's
30. He's 30.
Yeah,
correct.
He's 30. So, how much of his best is in that rearview mirror? What's he got left? How much do you really? I don't know. I don't know. The Warriors, again, they're about to be so middled that's where NBA competition goes to die.
Yeah,
you're not good enough to really compete. You're not bad enough to get that draft pick that could change the way you compete, and they're stuck right now. They're absolutely stuck. Cyrus, I don't have much more time, as a matter of fact. I got.
Okay, there we go. Well, I feel like we did our job for this week. I think we're good.
We did the damn job.
Yeah, yes, we did.
We did the job. Again, I'm going to be joining some guys tonight up in Sacramento for a little
Ryan
in Sacramento and Grant Napier. Looking forward to joining them and looking forward to seeing you again next week. I don't have an awful lot, Cyrus, of hope for this week without Draymond and look, if you're playing the Golden State Warriors, just dog Steph. Just run Steph ragged, run all of your offensive actions right through his chest. His legs will be tired by the fourth quarter. I mean, here's the thing. The Golden State Warriors have never wanted to play Steph less, and they've never needed to play him more. So they are even, stuck in that space, that gray area. Like, if you want to win basketball games the way you're currently built, Steph's got to be playing 40 minutes a night. Good luck with that.
That's not happening. Look, if there's one solace in all this, there's a few. Chief among them, the Warriors are still just 2.5 games back of the playoff seeding, which is insane. That is insane to me. I like the fact that is a fact. Apologies for the redundancy. Is insane to me. They're 2.5 games back. They still do have a solid defense, and that is what's carrying them. It's why they are still a 500 team. And they're keeping things interesting, Damon. Like I don't think we're even hosting shows anymore. I think you and I are saying we'll see you next year if it wasn't still interesting. They're keeping things spicy enough for us to still be talking about them. So I give them credit for that. But yeah, the clock's ticking.
When we start hosting Warriors monthly, things have gone wrong. Things have gone wrong. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. On my channel, go to Golden Days, hit like and subscribe. Everyone on Golden Days, come on over to the Plus, hit like and subscribe. Hey, anybody who's in the city who's watching on your channel, and Cyrus, let me invite you up to the city for the Super Bowl, getting together at the Halfway Club. My buddy's bar on Geneva. We got the back room waiting for us. We're going to have drink specials, food specials.
Mission? Are we talking the Mission?
All for us. It's Deep Mission. It's it's Mission heading towards Daly City. This is for the locals only.
I like it.
This is for locals, baby.
It's like the south side of the city, right? Like you're
real San Franciscans. Any douchebag who's got NVIDIA stock can buy a home in the marina. We're talking about real San Franciscans. On Geneva, Halfway Club. By the way, I'm so proud. My buddy just got nominated. The Halfway Club just got nominated for a James Beard Award as one of the best new bars in America. So the Halfway Club is awesome. Very proud of them. We're going to go and support my good friend's bar on the Super Bowl. And Cyrus, I want to invite you, all of your listeners, all of your viewers to come on up and hang out Super Bowl Sunday.
If the Warriors make a trade by then, I give you my word, I'll be there.
Oh, so not only would the Warriors acquire some talent, we would also acquire Cyrus to the Super Bowl watch party. That sounds pretty damn good to me. Now I really want to trade. I mean, here's the thing. I'm all done exercising caution on Zion.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Do it.
Just do something. This inactivity is maddening, man.
Right.
It's people have to find distractions to stop because thinking about this, it could drive anyone insane. Do something, please. Just anything. Like, give Steph some help for the love of God. You're right. He has no help offensively, like none. It's him and it's Lindy Waters.
He's the biggest one-man gang in sports since Donovan
It is.
McNabb was quarterback in the Eagles.
It is. The fact that the Warriors are 2.5 games out of the playoffs with this team, if anything, is a testament to Stephen Curry's greatness, because this is insane.
It's an indictment on the rest of the NBA, not taking the first 40 games of the year seriously either. What the fuck? This league mails in half of its season. It really does.
That's a problem. You're absolutely right. That is an issue. Good call, Matt.
No problem here. No mailing it in whatsoever. For Cyrys, I'm Damon. Thanks so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, they're gone.